Some 13,000 years ago, a group of people from Asia walked across a land bridge that connected Siberia to Alaska and headed south. It was long held that there was only one founding population, and that their route was up through Siberia.
Deep in Siberia's shadowy forests lie the Gornaya Shoria megaliths, a collection of ancient giant granite blocks. These colossal structures suggest that Siberia was once not a deserted white landscape, but a lush jungle with flooding waters. This means ancient civilizations roamed a much different Earth than we know today. Is this a major warning sign of more floods that could happen any time now? Let us reveal the pre-flood megastructure that warns us the Earth could be completely submerged by the sea at any moment. Discovering Siberia's ancient stone giants. The Gornaya Shoria megaliths, or just Shoria megaliths, sit in Kemerovo province in southern Siberia. This place is known for tough, wooded areas and is part of the mountains stretching into Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and China. The harsh Siberian weather, with brutal winters and short summers, plus the rough terrain, make digging into the past really tough here. Huge parts of Earth are barely touched by digging. No wonder. It's a hard place to work, and many think there isn't much to find. These megaliths didn't catch much attention from scholars until the 21st century, even though local historians and fans talked about them during the Soviet times. Interest picked up, mainly because information became easier to find online, and people like John Jensen and Dr. Valery Uvarov took a closer look. They saw patterns that looked like they might not be natural. Their work, showing off the size and neatness of the megaliths, sparked more talk and debate. Still, the area isn't well dug into by official standards. Yet, the sharp cuts, flat faces, and tight fits of the stones without any glue show a level of building skill like the famous Inca walls in Cusco, Peru, where stones also lock together, surviving many earthquakes. The megaliths are often compared to the walls of Sacsayhuaman in Cusco, Peru, known for its precise stonework. It's fully credited to the Incas, who appreciated the craftsmanship of those before them. Both Gornaya Shoria and Sacsayhuaman show a level of stonework that puzzles us about how ancient construction worked. But the sheer size of Gornaya Shoria's stones brings up even more questions about how such huge stones were moved and shaped by ancient builders. Yet some geologists think these massive formations might be completely natural. They suggest that glacial movements during the last ice age, moving and smoothing large stones, or chemical processes that break down weaker parts of the stone might explain how they formed without any human or alien help. Also, the heavy seismic activity in Siberia could shape these rocks naturally, making sharp, cut-like shapes through natural cracks and pressure from earth movements. This idea is similar to natural rock formations found elsewhere, like California's Devil's Postpile, with its even basalt columns formed from cooling lava. Such examples show that the neat structures at Gornaya Shoria might just be natural. Despite geological theories, the megaliths have sparked various archaeological ideas, proposing they might be leftovers from a clever but unknown ancient civilization. Their neat crafting recommends advanced stoneworking skills not seen in other cultures from the same time. Could these be pieces of a forgotten part of human history? Some even think about cultural and tech exchanges among ancient peoples, suggesting the Gornaya Shoria builders were part of a network that spread building knowledge far and wide, much like how building styles spread along the Silk Road. Alongside common archaeological thoughts, there are also wilder ideas, including guesses about aliens or a lost civilization with better stone-moving and locating tech, may be destroyed by a huge disaster, like the story of Atlantis. Comparing the massive stones of Gornaya Shoria with Lebanon's Baalbek Temple, especially its trilithon stones, adds more to think about. The trilithon has 3 huge stones, each weighing about 800 to 1,000 tons, placed on top of smaller blocks. Like the perfectly aligned stones that show great engineering, the Baalbek stones fit so tightly together, you couldn't even slide a piece of paper between them. This level of precision at both places suggests a deep understanding of stonework that questions what we think about old construction skills. The stones give researchers a tough time. The area is hard to get to, filled with dense forests and rough mountains, and the harsh winters only allow a short window for research. Nearby towns don't offer much help, making big digs hard. This, plus a focus on more famous sites, often keeps Gornaya Shoria out of the spotlight in archaeological studies. It used to be believed that Neanderthals were simple and primitive, but it turns out that's not true, with some people today having 3 to 5% Neanderthal DNA. In the remote Altai Mountains, where Russia, China, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan meet, sits Denisova Cave. Discussed in America before, this place first caught interest for its role in human evolution, set against a rich backdrop of plants and animals. In the 1970s, Soviet scientists looked into the cave's geological and paleontological details, mostly ignoring its potential to reveal more about our ancestors. Named after Denis, an 18th century hermit who lived there, the cave suggests long-term early human living through its complex structure. Significant attention came to the cave in 2008 with the discovery of a small finger bone. This wasn't from a Neanderthal or a modern human, but a Denisovan, a previously unknown human group. This discovery turned heads worldwide, showing the cave as a historical meeting point for various groups over thousands of years. The cave's tough location in the harsh Altai Mountains adds to the challenge for explorers. But this isolation is what draws researchers from around the world, keen to learn more about human history. Each visit to the cave brings us closer to understanding not just the Denisovans, but our collective past. Finding Denisova Cave was like uncovering a hidden chapter of human history in Siberia. It differed from both modern humans and Neanderthals, branched off from Neanderthals about 400,000 years ago. Though we only have a finger bone, some teeth, and part of a skull, these pieces suggest Denisovans were well suited for their environment. Interestingly, some groups today, especially in Asia and Oceania, carry Denisovan DNA, indicating a complex history of mixing that was previously unknown. This mixing included modern humans, Neanderthals, and possibly another unidentified ancient human group. Next, we explore Denisova Cave in Siberia, where discoveries are changing our views on early humans and how they lived and evolved. The alien DNA puzzle. Items found in Denisova Cave, like advanced tools, a bone needle, and jewelry, suggest a culture and sophistication that challenges our views of ancient humans. The discovery of the Denisovans has changed evolutionary biology, showing a complex network of ancient human interactions. Despite our growing knowledge, much about the Denisovans remains unknown. Each new find and DNA analysis helps researchers piece together our ancient family tree. In Siberia's Yakutia region, known for extreme cold, there's a place called the Valley of Death. This area, with its unusual metal structures and dome-like shapes popping out of the ground, raises a lot of questions. Are these old artifacts results of meteorite impacts, or something else? The truth is still out there as we continue to explore this intriguing place. Getting to the Valley of Death is a challenge. It's remote, harsh, and the weather swings from super hot summers to cold, strong winds that would test the toughest explorers. This makes studying those odd metal structures even harder. Local legends add a bit of drama, with Yakut tales suggesting these formations are dangerous and linked to strange energies. They say these structures might cause harm to the unwary, though these stories are just that, stories, with no proof. Researchers have a few guesses about these metal formations. Some think they might be leftovers from meteor impacts, given Siberia's history with space rocks like the famous Tunguska event. Others wonder if they were made by ancient humans or a long-gone civilization, leaving behind these puzzling items. But here's the catch. Actually checking this area out is really tough. The extreme weather, isolation, and poor infrastructure make serious research difficult. This lack of solid information keeps the Valley of Death shrouded in intrigue. This intrigue isn't just for scientists, historians, folks into paranormal stuff, and even tourists looking for adventure are drawn to its stories. The chance to dig deeper into Siberia's ancient layers and untouched areas is hard to resist. As our tools and ways of exploring improve, who knows what we might discover about the Valley of Death? For now, though, it remains one of Siberia's top head-scratchers, a place where history, myths, and science mix in a curious blend. Let's open up one of Siberia's most baffling stories, the Tunguska event of 1908. Imagine a blast so big it knocks down 80 million trees over 1,335 square miles. This wasn't just any explosion. It was about 1,000 times stronger than the Hiroshima bomb. The impact sent shockwaves felt over 1,242 miles away. Back then, people saw a bright blue light and heard booms that knocked them down and broke windows far away. Jump to 1927 and enter Leonid Kulik, a Russian mineralogist who first scientifically explored the site. Kulik hoped to find a meteorite crater, but instead found a giant area of downed trees with no crater. The main idea is that a small asteroid or comet exploded above ground, releasing 10 to 15 megatons of TNT. But, as with any good tale, there are twists. Some think it was a natural gas explosion from underground, or even crazier ideas like antimatter, or a mini black hole visiting our planet. This explosion did more than flatten trees. It boosted tree growth in the area and might have caused genetic changes in local wildlife, likely from the intense heat and blast. It even affected the global atmosphere, creating glowing night clouds and reducing air clarity across Europe and Asia. But here's where it gets more interesting. The Tunguska event has become a playground for conspiracy theories and wild guesses, from alien crashes to weapon tests. Despite years of research and many theories, the Tunguska event remains one of the 20th century's big unsolved stories, a real-life sci-fi puzzle set in the vast Siberian wilds that keeps us guessing. The last known object caused what's called the Tunguska event. It exploded in the sky, luckily over a place where no one lived in Siberia. Do top officials keep information from Congress? Some elected leaders seem to know more. Siberia, stretching vast and wide across eastern Russia, has always sparked the imaginations of explorers, scientists, and historians with its remote charm. Its vast landscapes have been a hotbed for all sorts of fascinating and sometimes outlandish stories and theories. It's been long believed that only one founding group made it to the Americas through Siberia. These range from somewhat believable to outright fantastical, reflecting our endless fascination with the unknown and unexplored parts of this huge region. There's a belief that something big is hidden under about 3 miles of ice. The Tunguska event of 1908 sounds like something from a science fiction book. Imagine a huge explosion in remote Siberia, flattening about 80 million trees across a massive area without leaving a crater. This puzzling event has fueled endless speculation and various theories about what exactly happened near the stony Tunguska River that day. At the center of trying to solve this puzzle is the main theory: an airburst from a meteoroid or comet. Picture a cosmic body about 160 to 200 feet wide, zooming towards Earth and exploding in the atmosphere with the force of 10 to 15 megatons of TNT. This dramatic scenario is backed by eyewitness reports of a sudden flash and intense heat wave. Studies finding tiny glass spheres in the soil support the idea of a high-temperature cosmic explosion. Yet, people love a good story, and Tunguska has inspired some wild ideas. Consider the mini black hole theory, suggesting a black hole passed right through Earth, starting over Tunguska and exiting the other side. Huge energy, no crater. Sounds like a movie plot, right? But, as you'd guess, there's no solid proof, and it strays far from established science. Then there's the antimatter theory, suggesting an explosion from a tiny bit of antimatter meeting matter. It's an intriguing idea, but again, without direct evidence and considering how rare antimatter is, it remains a speculative shot in the dark. Moving on, we examine the Tunguska event of 1908, a powerful explosion that shook the Earth and continues to intrigue scientists with its origin. The unbreakable metal domes of Yakutia. Some think the explosion happened because an alien spacecraft crashed or blew up overhead. This idea leads to endless debates and wild guesses, but doesn't have much proof. Another theory suggests it was a new weapon test by Tsarist Russia. Imagining that a country in the early 20th century had such a powerful weapon adds a curious twist. But this idea also struggles due to a lack of historical evidence and the unlikelihood of such advanced tech back then. When these ideas are compared, the theory of a meteoroid or comet exploding in the air holds up best, scientifically speaking. There's plenty of evidence for this, from the way trees fell to tiny space rocks found in the soil. These clues fit what we know about big meteorite impacts, though this one was on a larger scale. Meanwhile, the other theories, despite being interesting, lack solid evidence and clash with what science tells us now. Few inventors stir the imagination like Nikola Tesla, whose futuristic vision was huge. His Wardenclyffe Tower project, meant to send free power and messages across the world, fell through because of money problems. Tesla's claims about the tower's global reach were quite bold. This sets the stage for the theory that Tesla, under a lot of pressure to show off his work, might have caused the 1908 Tunguska explosion. This idea suggests he sent a huge blast of energy towards the Arctic, which then went terribly wrong. Tesla aimed to use the Earth's ionosphere to transfer energy wirelessly. Yet, the massive amount of energy needed and the lack of any historical records or evidence linking Tesla to such a test, especially in the Arctic, make this theory a long shot. Despite the captivating story about Tesla possibly causing the Tunguska explosion, when checked against available evidence and scientific likelihood, the theory remains just a guess. Tesla, famous for his work with electricity and early radio tech, also ventured into more fantastic claims like wireless electricity and weather control. The whispers of his unproven experiments, particularly in far-off Siberia, keep people talking. Among these are hints that he tested radical inventions there like energy weapons. The idea that Tesla might have worked with the Russian government to use a directed energy weapon in the isolation of Siberia sounds like something out of a legend. Yet, the chance of Tesla doing such tests in Siberia, or even visiting there, is slim due to his money problems and low profile later in life. When Tesla's rumored Siberian tests are compared to his public demonstrations, they starkly contrast. Tesla was open about his discoveries, unlike the so-called Siberian tests, which remain unproven and wrapped in doubt. And definitely they didn't disappear for no reason. Just as quickly as the Earth cooled, it heats up again, leaving unanswered questions. Imagine finding a perfectly preserved ancient casket in a Siberian coal seam, dating back over 100 million years, a time when humans shouldn't have been around. Inside is the Tissel Princess, her body and the tech around her throwing our understanding of history into question. Was this impressive figure placed there on purpose by an advanced civilization to puzzle or warn us? Or is she a remnant of an alien species, a leftover sign of past visits from space? Dive into the perplexing tale of the Tissel Princess, where each discovery brings up more questions than answers, shaking up what we think we know about our past. Right after the find, the Soviets came fast, locking down the area and clearing out any proof. They also kept the witnesses quiet, which just pumped up the rumors. Some folks like to think the casket was a time capsule from some super smart ancient group, maybe from before humans were around. They say these folks could make stuff meant to last and be found later. Now, look at the Antikythera mechanism, a real ancient device found in Greece in 1901. It could track stars and eclipses way back around 100 BC. It was way ahead of its time, just like the Tissel casket seems to be. Both finds make us question what we think we know about old tech skills and might even make us rethink history books. While the Antikythera mechanism is a proven piece of history still studied today, the Tissel Princess tale is more like a tall tale. Both stories, though, show we can't get enough of thinking about our past and the idea of hidden histories or lost advanced societies. In the Tissel Princess tale, every part of the story, from the shiny casket to the weird fluid keeping the princess fresh, screams of a high-tech ancient group. The casket, shiny like metal or stone and covered in fancy designs, might show stars or some unknown symbols, suggesting these old-timers knew a lot about the skies or had some unknown code. The casket's seal, in unusual pink or blue metal, adds to the whole vibe. They say this seal kept the casket shut tight, keeping everything inside super fresh. Inside the casket, there's this special liquid that keeps the princess looking like she just nodded off. This fluid sounds more like something from a modern-day funeral home than an ancient tomb, where you'd expect mummification with oils and resins. The princess, super pretty and dressed in a simple white dress, has this otherworldly vibe, eyes wide open as if she might just sit up any minute. Some stories even have her holding some unknown object, maybe some important techie or magical item. Among myths and archaeological puzzles, the tale of the Tissel Princess mixes legend with fact, making us rethink the stories of our past. A strange 4 millennia old Siberian burial. This story lines up a bit with the real find of the Sleeping Beauty of Lulan in China in 1980. She lived about 3,800 years ago and was naturally mummified in desert conditions, found looking peaceful and high status. This contrast between the real deal of natural mummification and the fantasy vibes of the Tissel Princess highlights the wilder parts of her story, offering a legit peek into past lives and practices. The Teasel Princess legend, lacking hard facts, still lights up our thoughts about what might lie buried in our unrecorded past. It mixes real history with fantasy, making a story that grabs us and makes us think about all the what-ifs of our long history. When the Soviets reportedly dug up the Teasel Princess, they made it top secret fast, typical of Cold War moves to keep things under wraps if discoveries could shake things up. The area was quickly off limits, and locals were pushed into silence, often forcefully. This tough approach shows just how tightly the Soviets controlled information back then. They say the body and casket were quickly moved to a hidden spot, under heavy guard, hinting at how important this find was. And supposedly the KGB kept an eye on everyone involved for a long time, making sure no details slipped out. This legend has sparked a bunch of guesses about maybe there being a super smart society way back before our known history. Some even throw around ideas of alien visitors, given the odd tech described. Admiral Byrd is often seen as a top explorer and a big inspiration for those interested in Earth's odd theories. The idea of a hollow Earth has been around for a long time, mixing old myths with some modern guesses about science. If avoiding meteor impacts is a worry, some say you might want to consider heading inside. This theory has changed a lot over time, evolving from ancient tales of underground worlds with gods to more modern scientific musings. Back in the 17th and 18th centuries, when curiosity and questioning were all the rage, Edmund Halley, the comet guy, came up with a wild theory. In 1692, he proposed that Earth wasn't solid, but consisted of a hollow shell about 500 miles thick, with two inner layers and a core, each with its own magnetic poles. Inside, he claimed, was another sun and an advanced hidden civilization. Halley was trying to make sense of weird magnetic issues that confused everyone back then. But let's just say he didn't really have any solid proof. Fast forward to the 19th century, and John Cleve Symmes Jr., an American Army officer, decided to take Halley's ideas even further. He promoted the idea that Earth had big holes at the poles, which he named Symmes Holes, gateways to a world below, teeming with unknown creatures and people. Despite his enthusiasm and relentless efforts to launch an expedition to the North Pole to back up his ideas, the scientific community wasn't convinced. His dreams of proving his theories remained just that, dreams. Now, picture a world under Antarctica's ice, lit by its own sun. This wouldn't be a dark, frozen place, but a lively, hidden world with forests and expansive landscapes under a sun that never sets, where a variety of creatures thrive in a mild, welcoming climate. This inner sun theory is pretty out there, suggesting a softer, gentler sun that's just right for an Eden-like life. What powers this sun? Could it be nuclear reactions unlike any we know, or something even weirder? The theories are wide-ranging, but they keep the idea of a central sun quite fascinating. Then, there's Admiral Richard E. Byrd, known for his real-life polar adventures, but it's his supposed personal diary that really adds some spice. In it, Byrd allegedly finds a way into an inner Earth during his 1947 flights over the poles. These diary entries, often debated, describe a world turned upside down. A lush paradise with ancient creatures, tucked away under the icy surface. Byrd's diary talks about moving from icy deserts to green valleys where mammoths still wander. But there's more. According to these entries, Byrd encounters a civilization with technology so advanced it makes our gear look old-fashioned. They weren't aggressive but concerned, warning Byrd about humanity's dangerous path and the risks of nuclear weapons. They hoped for peace and cooperation to prevent disaster. In Byrd's wild diary, he meets a society with seemingly magical tech. Silent, fast-flying machines that can glide, dive, or even move through space, possibly using anti-gravity. Their understanding of physics and their harmony with their surroundings suggest they've figured out things we can only imagine. What's really notable about Byrd's story isn't the cool tech he talks about. It's the attitude of the folks he met. They weren't out to dominate or scare anyone. They were really worried about where humanity was headed, especially after World War II and the start of the nuclear era. They saw nukes as a big danger to everyone on Earth. They told Byrd to pass on a message of caution mixed with hope, pushing for peace and mutual respect between countries. They wanted a shift from the danger of nuclear war to a more cooperative, green future. They believed humanity could change its ways and take a more peaceful route in dealing with tech and world relations. Diving into Agartha and Hollow Earth theories, one steps into a blend of science and pure fantasy. These ideas offer a thrilling look at potential underground worlds, fueling the imagination with visions of unseen lands. Agartha is shown not just as another place, but as an ideal society inside Earth, where residents excel beyond our tech, using clean energy, advanced transport, and even controlling time and space. This society is seen as the peak of cultural and spiritual growth, keeping knowledge far beyond what we know. As we dive deeper, the idea of Agartha introduces us to a world hidden inside Earth, filled with advanced societies and unknown technologies. Exploring the occult under Antarctica's ice. The ways into this hidden world are legendary, found in Earth's most hidden and magical spots, from deserts to ice caps, open only to those spiritually ready to enter. When you compare Agartha to Hollow Earth theories, both imagine a big hidden world beneath us, but differ in their visions of this world. Agartha is seen as a single enlightened society where science meets spirituality, a model of harmony with the universe. On the other hand, Hollow Earth theories suggest a range of possible worlds, each as risky as they are mesmerizing. Why the interest in the depths of the Earth? No one's living down there, right? Here's one reason. It's possibly the most important place for science. Antarctica, one of Earth's most out-of-the-way spots, has always caught the attention of those chasing unanswered questions. There might have been a time when Antarctica was vibrant and green. Was it during the time humans were around? Its hidden history and real events like Operation High Jump add to the intrigue of what's under 1 mile of ice. Will we ever find out, or will time reveal the truth? It's surprising to think such a huge, unexplored area exists. Among various theories about this icy wilderness, the idea of lost civilizations like Atlantis or Lemuria stands out. Say Atlantis around archaeologists, and you're instantly seen as offbeat. These ancient societies, as described in cultural myths, were thought to have advanced technologies and deep wisdom. Plato described Atlantis as a strong maritime empire that vanished under the ocean in a massive disaster. Lemuria, mentioned in Tamil legends as Kumari Kandam, is thought to have been in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. The idea that these civilizations might have been on today's icy Antarctica centers on Charles Hapgood's theory of Earth crust shifts, supported by the likes of Albert Einstein. This theory is backed by old maps like the Piri Reis map, made in the 1500s from older maps, showing an ice-free Antarctic coast, implying it was once in a warmer zone, navigable long before our civilization recognized its existence in 1820. More support for ancient civilizations in Antarctica comes from cool geological and archaeological finds. Satellite tech has revealed landforms beneath the ice that resemble the architectural precision of known ancient sites, like the pyramids at Giza or Teotihuacan. These features suggest deliberate constructions and hint at a past where Antarctica might have been warm enough for human habitation. Some of these satellite-spotted alignments line up with what could have been ancient latitudinal lines, suggesting an advanced grasp of navigation and geography by those who might have lived in this now frozen, distant land. This evidence forms a complex narrative combining historical myths, advanced ancient cartography, and modern scientific findings set against the dramatic, icy scene of Antarctica. Antarctica, covered in ice, seems like it might have once been green and livable. Modern technology is revealing interesting bits about its past. For instance, findings of coal, palm leaves, and wood in the Transantarctic Mountains suggest it was much warmer back then, or that the land was in a totally different spot on Earth. Among the coolest finds is a 260-million-year-old fossil forest, way older than dinosaurs, from when Antarctica was part of the supercontinent Gondwana near the equator. Not just plants, there are signs of ancient volcanic action too, hinting that volcanic heat could have made parts of ancient Antarctica warm enough to live in. Studies of deep ice cores show volcanic ash and trapped old air, giving us a peek into past climates. Plus, seismic surveys suggest there might be man-made looking shapes under the ice, like flat areas that could have held buildings long ago. This big change from green to icy in Antarctica is kind of like what happened with the Sahara Desert, which used to be lush during the Ice Age, full of lakes and greenery as old cave paintings show. This massive switch in environment makes us rethink our usual historical and archaeological ideas and suggest there's a big piece of human history we haven't really dug into yet. Talk about Antarctica's warmer past gets both scientists and writers buzzing, inspiring stories and heated debates about how old civilizations might have survived tough changes. The continent's no-fly zones, which cover key spots like the South Pole, officially exist to keep flights safe from the extreme cold and unpredictable weather that can mess with navigation and to protect the untouched natural surroundings. But these zones also spark wild guesses about hidden military bases, strange experiments, or proof of advanced ancient civilizations like Atlantis, supposedly kept hidden from us. These wild guesses get more fuel from stories about historical missions like Operation High Jump, led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd in the late 1940s. Officially, it was a science mission to set up a base, but some think it was really to check out hidden Nazi bases or alien tech under the ice, suggesting there are still unanswered questions in the no-fly zones. Despite these wild ideas, scientific missions keep going, aimed at learning about Antarctica's climate and geology in safe, approved areas. Big-name projects like exploring Lake Vostok draw conspiracy theories too, often used as reasons for the strict flight rules to keep people from snooping too much. Lake Vostok, buried under miles of ice and cut off for millions of years, is super intriguing. It's one of the biggest subglacial lakes and gets compared to underwater oceans on Jupiter's moon Europa, sparking interest in the possibility of life in other icy worlds. Then there's the Peary Race map, made in 1513, which shows parts of Antarctica as ice-free, suggesting it might have been drawn from older maps when the coasts were clear. These findings keep the conversation going about what else might be hidden under Antarctica's ice or lost in old maps and records. Could these Siberian megaliths reveal advanced ancient technologies lost to time? What are your thoughts? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing stories.